Good morning and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football show in the history of the world. This is the Group of Five guys. Our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, share us with your family and friends. On this Wednesday morning, we have a very, very special conversation with a man that we love dearly coming up soon. We're going to talk about the CFP rankings. We're going to talk about the Battle of the Bricks, showdown between UMass and Akron last night. Couple games tonight, couple games tomorrow night, and plenty more. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is the Group of Five guys, and we are coming to you live.
They got Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. Group of Five guys told me that, so that has to be true.
Looked at each other. We was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Troy has won. It's been a winner, and it's a special place. So it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Jeff, we are now in the heart of midweek MACtion. It is the dog days of the season to where if you love ball and you still have the Disney networks, I guess, then you can watch all the games. Although CBS Sports has been doing a damn good job. I want to talk about them actually in a minute. But I mean, it is the time when fatigue sets in. You're battling injuries. You're battling it's cold and flu season. The kids are getting sick. Coworkers are getting sick. And there's nothing better than a nice hot cup of Joe in the morning to soothe. When you get a little tickle in the throat, you soothe with a little hot cup of Joe, Deca Gray coffee. I'm on the Nebula roast. I've been on it for a little bit while. I'm almost out. I gotta re-up. But roast to order coffee, K-cups available, whole bean coffee available, ground coffee available. When you put it in your cart, you put in our promo code GOFG, you click purchase. That's when they roast it. That's when they bag it and ship it directly to your doorstep. Promo code GOFG will get you 10% off plus free shipping. Also, Levels Discord. I mean, we got college football on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we see at least one. Usually there's only one game, maybe two. We're hitting on our plays, a lot of first quarter plays. And then, I mean, it is nonstop with Sean, the coach's desk, on NBA, NFL, soccer now, hockey with the Prez, and then Jay Vandy, of course, doing his typical stuff with the NFL. I mean, I'm seeing all kinds of dollar signs across my feed on a daily basis at all times of the day. When you think there's no sports going on, these guys are watching soccer in Europe. What's next? Cricket?
It's got to be, right? That or pickleball, maybe competitive pickleball. Who knows? No, but the community they're building, we collectively are building over there is just incredible. The administration side, the guys in the back end do a phenomenal job. If you got issues, if you need education, they got it. They got the tracker. They got the bankroll calculator. So that way you can bet responsibly, have a great time. And then you get to talking to people, man, in the chats and the Discords and meet people. And it's just an awesome, awesome experience. It's so much more than just, hey, I'm going to bet and put some picks in. It's so much more than that. So shout out to Levels Sports Picks.
100%. And, yeah, it's been fun. It's just fun to see all the winning. You're just too much winning. I'm almost getting tired of winning, Jeff. So look, last night was the first CFP committee rankings. I don't know if you saw it, Jeff, but they left their hats at the door. I mean, just really reassuring the world that there was no bias in play. I mean, you know,
come on.
it's cringy.
It's so
Like,
cringy.
you know, and it's almost, to me, when they do stuff like that, it's a slap in the face for people that do actually have that concern that there is too much bias. Oh, well, watch this. I'm gonna hang my hat at the door. Like, that's got anything to do with anything. And it wasn't it in the NCAA tournament for basketball when the North Carolina AD, oh, well, he left the room when we talked about North Carolina. I mean, come on, man. I think, you know how the ACC, I think it's the ACC, has been doing the reviews live where they show the.
Yes. You talking about the referees.
Correct. And they show the booth or whatever talking about it.
Yep.
And I think it's great. It makes total sense. And I think the committee needs to do that. I think it should be like, and I don't, how long they meet for, but I think they should be, if you watch court TV or something, you can watch those all day when there's a big national case and you can watch every hearing and every witness and everything. I think there should just be like a live cam in there. And when they're talking about it, I can go look and see, because, a couple of things. Well, first, let's talk about the rankings. So Memphis, as of now, in the 12 seed, not even ranked. So they're only in the 12th seed because they're the 5th highest ranking, top of the conference team. You got to win the championship. I can't argue with Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Can't really argue with that. It's hard to argue with a lot of it until you get down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But then when you factor in, like, what that tells me is everybody said the AP poll has no effect on the CFP, although they're damn near identical, by the way. You shuffle a couple teams around and they're damn close to being the same poll. I think Iowa might have been the only team. Iowa and Memphis, I think, are the only team in the AP that are not in the CFP, or vice versa, maybe. I think Iowa is in the CFP, not in the AP. I don't know if you've got it pulled up. I can't see it.
I got it pulled up.
By the way,
So
if you're wondering why I don't know.
No, you're good. You got, you mentioned Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Texas A&M at 3, Alabama at 4. Then you got Georgia at 5, Texas Tech at Ole Miss at 6. Excuse me. I'm having to lean in closer here. Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at 9. 10 is Notre Dame, Virginia at 11. And then Memphis at 12. So the thing that confuses me is...
Well, that's the seeding, though. That's not where they're ranked, because Virginia is 14 or 15.
Yeah. No, I know. I was going off of the bracket. Correct. Yes. But at the end of the day, this is what matters, right?
Yep.
And what it's telling you is that the ACC is only going to get one team, when, quite frankly, they probably should get at least 2. Because they have a bunch of one-loss teams in there.
Yep.
But you see the SEC, Big Ten. I mean, they're telling you right now. They're telegraphing it right now.
Yeah.
That it doesn't really matter what Notre Dame does. They're going to get in. Mm-hmm. So that's going to leave one Big 12 and one ACC, and then, of course, the one group of 5. But to not have Memphis, to not
even
have
ranked,
ranked, is inexcusable to me, Sprouse. I don't get it.
Well, and that's where the question remains, right? Because if you wanted to get the ACC, if the ACC implodes a little bit, you might have a situation where a Georgia Tech or a Miami, they're still higher than I thought they'd be, doesn't win the ACC but gets in at 12 at a top 12 spot. And then the question is, well, where is Memphis ranked? Do they have the opportunity to climb to where they are ranked higher? And then where is James Madison ranked? Do they have an opportunity to climb where they're higher than a, 3 or 4 loss Duke that could win the ACC? Because that's what it's looking like right now. You might have a 1-loss Georgia Tech that doesn't win the ACC, at which that was another part is where's Georgia Tech ranked right now?
They are. Hold on, I got to get to the rank.
They might not even be in it.
The rankings. They're not in the. No, they're not in the
Top
bracket.
25 at all. I know they're not in the bracket.
Let's see. They are ranked.
My
why can't I find?
My thing is this: they lose one game in conference, and this is the story we've been trying to tell you guys. Is like they lose one conference game, and it totally drops them out of everything. They go from a top 7 or 8 team to just totally out of it.
Georgia Tech's at 17.
Yeah. So, and then when you look at the committee, like, who is Georgia Tech going to play the rest of the way that's going to allow them to jump 6 or 7 spots? Probably nobody, because they're telling you what they think of the ACC. And meanwhile, and again, I'm not arguing that Alabama hasn't looked like one of the best teams in the country the last few weeks, but they have, out of anybody in the top 25, they might have the worst loss out of anybody, and it's just totally ignored. And so you can, and then you'll get up here and you'll have this narrative of like, well, the SEC, you lose in conference, you lose to these really good teams, but it's just like last year. They're not losing to the good teams. They're losing to terrible teams.
That's right.
They're losing to non-conference terrible teams. Like, you're playing tight games week in and week out with an Arkansas team who you say is bad, but yet they're giving everybody in your conference a game. And then Memphis beats them, and it's like, well, it's Arkansas. No problem. But when Tennessee beats them by 4 or 5, or Ole Miss beats them by a point, they get thrown in the so I understand it's you get this far into the season. We do a poll every week, and it's difficult. It really is, because you're looking at head-to-head, and you're like, yeah, but that was 3 weeks ago. They look like a totally different team. But I say all that to tell you is we might very damn well get an ACC or an ACC rep that's not the champion. And I think the committee will show some bias, because if a Georgia Tech or a Miami can win out, I think they'll climb into the top 10 or 11. And I think the committee will show a bias to, even though they're not the champ, well, at least we have a rep from that conference in, so we can disregard their champion, keep them out. And then maybe you do get Memphis and James Madison. But the question is, how far down is Memphis? How far down is James Madison? Are they 30? Are they 26? You know what I mean? Are they 40?
Yeah. Well,
we don't really know.
That's the issue is you're not going to get a high enough ranked group of 5 team outside of the one rep. I just don't think you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Because they're not even, we don't even have one ranked in the top 25. Can somebody, like, this is just, they're telegraphing all of this. Why is Tennessee ranked at number 5? Can somebody explain this to me? A 3-loss team. And I get their losses are Georgia, Oklahoma, and Alabama. I understand that. But that's 3 losses.
But you know what, though, Jeff? That's what they'll tell you about South Florida. You'll say, we only have these losses. Oh, yeah, but the one time they played a good team, they lost. It's like, okay, well, same with Tennessee. The 3 times they played good teams, they lost. All 3 of them. All 3 of them. I mean, and so, again, it's this typical narrative of the SEC being so deep. And it's not. None of these conferences, and you know, even if the conference was deep, this is what I've been saying about the American people. Nobody's denying that the top 5 or 6 teams in the American as a whole are better than the top 5 or 6 teams in the Sun Belt. But that does not mean that James Madison, the one team, the one roster, can't be as good as those. It doesn't mean that. You're starting to sound like SEC fans, where it's like, yeah, we know Georgia and Alabama and maybe Texas. Texas, I thought was a little high, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the last week, with who they beat, Vanderbilt, they damn near blew that game. So I thought that was interesting. But you know, it's again, there's, in most conferences, there's probably 2 or 3 really, really good teams. and then there's everybody else. The SEC, I'll give you that you have 5. You probably have 2 really good teams, and then you have 3 pretty damn good teams. And then there's everybody else that we've seen lose, go toe-to-toe with Group of 5 schools, with the other conference schools. But this is, Jeff, ESPN and Disney, they've been in the news lately. That's all this is. This is another TV show for ESPN designed to get views and clicks and people talking about them and ratings. It's all they seem to care about, ratings. And like everything that ESPN does, it's not good outside of live sports. I told you that last week. ESPN flexes its muscle on live sports, specifically live college football. And for some reason, they've allowed the entire rest of their programming to be awful. But it's not programming anymore. It's clicks, and it's little clips, and it's viral reels, and it's TikToks. That's what matters now, unfortunately, and that's what we have.
Well, I just wish that they could get their freaking app to work correctly, because I'm trying, I caved. I went and got it because I was like, I'll get it for a month and then I'll cancel it whenever they stop squabbling between them and YouTube TV. And so I'm watching the game, Battle of the Bricks last night. The app keeps crashing on my television. I'm like, what is going on? Like, can we not? So I restart the whole thing, load it back up, watch it for like 2 minutes, crashes again. I'm just like, holy smokes. Maybe it's the TV. Nope. Every other app works just fine. I mean, ESPN, you force everybody over to you force everybody to your technology, and then it doesn't work. It's awful. Their app is terrible. Like from a check and score standpoint, like none of that makes any type of sense. Trying to go from game to game when you're watching it it's not smooth at all. I just need something that gives me all the games, all the college football games in the Group of 5 in one place. It's almost like if we just had one network, one platform, if there was people that care enough about the Group of 5 where you could just have all your games in one spot on a friendly app that works, where you can check live game casts and scores and stats and all the things.
And it would be very simple too. You know what I mean? Not all this complex stuff. Like the ESPN app, when you go to check a score, like they got all the graphics and all this stupid stuff, and that's why it's crashing. But
you go to click something, and as you're touching the screen, a pop-up ad pops up. So then you click the pop-up ad, and now it takes you to a whole nother browser. And I'm just like, I just want to check how many rushing yards. All I want to do is see the score, dude.
All I want to do is see the score. And some of the commissioners have come out and said that, like, more of a consolidated network deal. I mean, can I give a shout out? Because I still have not caved. So I was watching CBS Sports. I was watching UMass Akron, which, by the way, I mean, you want to talk about delivery of all the fun trick plays, turnovers, all the stuff, special teams, all of it was happening. But anyway, CBS Sports, I'll give them some credit because they at least discussed the game at halftime and after the game, kind of broke down the game a little bit, broke down both games that were going on. Now, sure, they talked about the playoff and they talked about the rankings, but they did, I thought they did a decent job. And so shout out to them. I will say there was one point they were talking about how the MAC, they're getting rated by the portal, which is true. And, the one guy brought up how they all, you look at a 5-3 record and you think they're not very good, but then you look at the 3 losses or whatever, they played all these Big Ten teams, and he was talking about these blowout losses. But they didn't mention that, well, hold on now. These weren't all blowout losses.
Mm-hmm.
A couple wins. I mean, you had Ohio go beat West Virginia. You had Ohio go, I can't remember who they played, Rutgers
almost beat Rutgers, yeah.
Should have beat Rutgers, had them beat. Miami was doing that early, and so they wasn't all just these 40-50 point blowout losses like they act like it is. But anyway, so we've been talking about the inconsistency in play, which we continue to see week in and week out across the board. Every conference, every Group of 5, Power 4, whatever you want to call it, you're getting this inconsistency. You're getting bad quarterback play, I think, is a big reason of it. And then you got this coaching carousel happening. So we invited arguably the best. Well, I don't think it's arguable, actually. No debating. Probably the best guy in all of college football. Our coach, Rick Stockstill, hung out with us for a few minutes last night. So we're going to drop that conversation right now. We're talking about all that with him. It's not just us hanging out. We're talking about quarterback play and inconsistency and coaching carousel. And this was a guy that was at Middle for 18 years. So wanted to see what his thoughts are on the current state of college football and coaches' tenures. Well, on Wednesday mornings, we like to have a topic of discussion. We like to have a special guest on, and we've got probably like the godfather of group of five guys, a guy that we love and respect more than anybody in this college football coaching world, our head coach, Rick Stockstill. Coach Stock, what's up, man? Welcome.
How you doing, Matt? Jeff, good to see you guys, man. Good to catch up with you.
It's great to see you.
I'm like giddy right now. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on a.
Me too. Heck, I'm fired up. I see some familiar faces, guys. I love.
I'll say this, Coach. You look a little more tan than you normally do.
I think it's the lights.
Yeah.
But I hadn't had to put on a lot of sweatshirts here yet.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, Coach, so like one thing we've been talking about on the show quite a bit is this inconsistency. Right now, there's, I don't know how many FBS, 10, 11 FBS head jobs already open. You obviously were at Middle 18 years. Do you ever think we'll see anybody? I think Troy Calhoun at Air Force is probably the only one right now that's been there longer than a few years. Do you think we'll ever see that again, of somebody just building and staying at a program?
Yeah, man, I think it'll be tough, especially at the Power 5 level, because those guys are getting paid so much now. They're all getting $7, $8 to $10, $11, $12 million a year. And, so you look at it from that standpoint, they don't have to work a long time, 15, 20 years, and, they're going to be taken care of pretty early. So they're getting paid so much now, but because they're getting paid so much and the money is coming from different people, outside athletic programs, that there's more pressure on, guys at the Power 5 or Power 4 level now, to win now. And so I think it's going to be harder for, like Coach Bowden was here 33 years at Florida State. Those days are over because of there's so much pressure and there's so much demand from a recruiting standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, all those things, that with the transfer portal and everything and having to go raise money for NIL, that there's not a whole lot of, personal time for guys, at this level anymore. Not that there ever was a lot, but there was more than what there is now. So I think you're going to see less and less of that at the Power 4 level. And then, the group of five, everything is a kind of a trickle down effect a little bit, that, you're not going to make the kind of money, as a head coach or an assistant coach at the group of five that you do, here at the Power 4 level. But you're still, the pressure to win in everything, that I think athletic directors, lose a little bit of patience. And make quicker decisions, maybe before they should. And so I think it's going to be tough, just because the demands of the profession now, and there's so many young people now trying to get to the NFL as coaches, because, there's not many days off anymore here at this level. So I think, Matt, you're going to see fewer and fewer coaches staying at places, more than 7 to 10 years, probably.
Do you also think, like, while it might be easier for a quick rebuild with the portal, do you also think it's harder in a sense to sustain, like your coach Bobby Bowden, or like some of these guys that, or Nick Saban just recently, like it's probably a reason Nick Saban got out when he did. But do you think it's going to be more difficult to sustain, along with at the same time people are less patient to be a winner?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And really, if you look at it, there's really no excuse, to say you have a young team anymore, because you can go fill your needs now, whatever you need, at whatever position, you can go out and get that now and not have to wait 2 years, 3 years to develop those guys. So the excuse of we're a young team, you can't say that as much now as you could in the past, as you were waiting to develop them. So you need a quarterback, you need an offensive line, you need a defensive line. There's so many people in the portal now, not right now, but in the portal when it opens, that you can go out there and you can get your needs, your immediate needs right now. And then that's where I think you need a mature, a confident, I don't want to say an established, but a coach that's been in the business, that understands how to develop a culture, because most teams are bringing in anywhere from 40 to 60 to 70 new guys every year. And you really need a strong coach, a strong staff, and the players you bring in, you've got to make sure you bring in good leaders to help set in your culture, because you bring in that many people, there's a lot of individuals in that group that I'm here for me. And there's going to be others that are going to be your culture setters and speak your language, coming out of your mouth in the locker room. So I just think you need a really strong, mature staff. And then you've got to be, there's a lot of good players in the portal, and you got to make sure you're bringing in the right ones. And like Coach Saban said, I think it was last year, he said, yeah, you can pay these guys, but make sure you're paying the right guys. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's really, really critical and really important. And you look at the teams across the country that are heavy in the portal that are having success, they've been able to set their culture, the standards, their expectations with what they want within their program.
Yeah, I think establishing a culture is more vital now than ever, and being able to evaluate that on the front end of the guys is one of the most important things too, because you can't bring in a bunch of guys that don't fit it, but you got to have the right staff and admin and all those guys in place to kind of decipher that. You talked about the turnover we're having every single year in rosters. We've seen some pretty bad football this year. It feels like more than ever. And to me, it kind of seems like everything's being dumbed down to a certain point from a, playbook standpoint. Am I just assuming that, or am I misreading that, or have you kind of seen that the same? Because when you're teaching an entire new playbook and roster every single year to new guys, you're kind of starting at ground zero. Are you not?
Yeah. You're right, Jeff. And you guys know, because you've heard it, that, everybody in the NFL, all the terminology is the same, basically the same. It may mean a little bit something different, because most of those guys stay there, 3 years, 4 years, and they're free agents and they go somewhere else. Or somebody gets hurt and they're bringing somebody in off the Titans, practice squad. And so the teaching part of it, everybody's about the same, because you don't have them as long. Now, conversely, with colleges, us now, that you're getting new players every year. Some of those guys aren't getting there some are getting there in January for spring practice. Others aren't getting there till the summer. And that's why I think you see so many, highs and lows, inconsistencies the early part of the year, because the quarterback may have just got there this summer. The offensive line, half the offensive line just got there this summer, and it takes time for them to gel together. So I think part of it is that, and then injuries, have always played a part, but I don't think it's as much that as now as you're getting into the back end of the season is as much as it is those guys how they're handling adversity. And, we've had a tough stretch there, and, do guys start looking at themselves, what can I get from me, and, across the country that you lose a couple games, it goes back to the culture that you set. So I just think there's so many factors in it, but especially early in the year, Jeff, quarterbacks just getting there in the summer, and really coaches also, like, they didn't have this guy as a freshman, a sophomore, and I know what Matt can do. I know what Jeff can do. They're having to figure that out a little bit. I just got him. What is he really good at? And it takes time to find out what your team, is good at and what they're not good at.
Coach, you mentioned injuries, and I know that's something, when we were at middle and then, after we left in the past, like, injuries seem to really come into play, and depth, especially in the group of five. If one, if two offensive linemen go down, then you're playing a freshman or a guy you wanted to redshirt or a walk-on, or somebody's going to get some playing time that normally wouldn't. Are you seeing that more at, all the way up into the highest levels, even the schools, the top programs, the Alabamas, the Notre Dames, where guys are not willing to sit? And so there's a little more parity, but everybody's having some depth issues.
Yeah, and I go back to when I was at middle, Matt. I always said that, an injury at Middle Tennessee devastates us. An injury at Florida State hurts them, because we're having to sign, a 6'3", 260-pound offensive lineman and hope, in a year he's 275 and, his redshirt sophomore year, now he's 300. You have to evaluate and project. So a lot of times somebody gets hurt, you're playing a younger guy that's not physically ready to play, that game. Whereas here, or Florida State Power 4, you lose a guy, they recruited a 5-star, 4-star guy that's behind him, that's already physically ready to compete. He may not be quite as good, but physically he's ready to go. And, that was I remember those, playing Alabama, we lost three guys, 2 on defense and 1 on offense, starters for the year. And you play all those, it wasn't because anything Alabama did bad or anything. It's just the longer the game goes, their physicality, and they've got more, bodies than we have. And then when you get into your conference play at the group of 5, playing all those Power 4 guys, you don't have the same team you had, at the beginning of the year, so that's different. And then what was I going to say? And then the Power 4 guys, most of the Power 4 now, when you can have 105 on scholarship, now you're recruiting a lot of other guys, that the group of 5 can't, because they're not, I don't know many out there. Maybe the schools in the American can, but, I don't know how many in the Sun Belt and the MAC and Conference USA can have 105 on scholarship, where the Power 4s can. So that's a lot, 20 more people that you've got on your team that, the group of 5s don't.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's frustrating, to watch the state of college football that it's in. But still love it. Still going to games, still tuning in.
It's greatest game ever, and still is. And everybody can like or dislike the portal. They can like or dislike NIL, but on Saturdays we all sit in that chair and just, man, this is the greatest. There's always something that, man, this is great, and you come back on Monday, you talk about it all week, and it's the greatest game out there. And it's going to be Thanksgiving here pretty soon, and it goes by so fast. Seems like it takes forever to get here, but we're down in the last 4 weeks of it.
Well, I got a question before we let you go. We talked about at the beginning this coaching carousel, the domino effect of that. My question is, when the hell are we going to see Rick Stockstill back on the sideline with the headset and the notepad and the play sheet?
Come on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Matt. Now, I'm an offensive analyst here, so I get to coach a little bit, not near as much as I want. I miss the relationships with the players and staff and all that. So in December, I'm going to try to, throw my name out there, and, maybe some of the group of 5 positions may open up, or, a power 4 assistant somewhere. But I'm itching to get back in it. I want to get back in it. I know I can still have an impact on kids or young people in a program, in a school. And, I'm not ready to ride off in the sunset. Still got a lot left in the tank, and I just want to get out there and, impact kids or in a program. So hopefully soon, Matt.
Man, there'd be nothing better than to see that.
Let me tell you something. We'll be doing a lot. I don't care where it is. We'll be doing a lot. If it's in the group of 5, we'll be doing a live show. We'll be at camp. We'll be at spring practice. We'll be doing all of it, man. I will tell you, I will say this, Coach, while you're here, and like Jeff will echo this, like, speaking of impacting, I mean, we talk about you every day almost, and the impact you made on, a guy that was a freaking walk-on that played in one series.
And went on scholarship.
It's damn right I did.
You earned a scholarship.
You're damn right.
There you go. I don't want everybody.
And you know what else? You know what I appreciate about that too, Coach, is you didn't make a bit. Nowadays they put these walk-ons on scholarship and they make it a big social media thing. And I get it; it's cool. But it was just come to the office. Me and old Tom Campbell. We got up there together. And then you told us not to broadcast it, and Lance Campbell opened your door and started shouting to everybody. That we got on scholarship. But no, I mean, we appreciate you and everything you did for us. And
well, feelings mutual. I love and respect you guys and everybody there that went through our program for all those years. So, and that's what, like I said, that's what I miss. At the end of the day, winning is important. You got to win games, but just the impact that you try to have on players is what's special about the coaching profession. And it doesn't matter if you're here at Florida State or at Middle Tennessee or any school in the country. At any level. Coach Bowden used to always say a coach will impact more people in a year than most people will in a lifetime. And I always remembered that and tried to live that. So I'm honored to say I was your coach and proud of you, and love and respect the heck out of you guys.
Well, your impact was immeasurable on so many lives, and we love you forever, Coach. We appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Love you, brother.
See you, Coach.
See you.
See you. Bye.
I mean, you talk about just a all-time great human being.
Unbelievable, isn't he?
I love him so much. I got so excited. I was telling Scarlett last night after we got done talking. I was like, I just miss hearing his voice.
Oh, I know. He's just like, even though we're just conversating, it just it reminds you of those before practice, coming in the little game day or the team room and say, "Are you gonna go 18 periods?"
And old Grisham complaining in the back, 18 periods.
But No, man, I'd love nothing more for him to get back on the sidelines. Dude.
Without question. And I think, I agree with him. Now more than ever, you need a leader at the top of your program in that locker room to galvanize so many people coming in every single year. Yeah. And ain't nobody who's done it as long, like he has.
And nobody's done it under worse circumstances.
Yeah.
We've gotten into that a little bit, but you know what I mean? It's just nobody had a worse, administration stuff going on in the background than he did, and he still managed to win a bunch of bowl games and win a whole bunch of games and churn out some NFL guys.
Absolutely. So. Coaches all over the country at big time programs. I mean, the fruit of the tree, Sprouse. It speaks for itself.
We got to do a stock tree, and I know all these guys would technically be on the Bowden tree. There's the Bowden tree, the Saban tree, the Urban Meyer tree, but a lot of these guys coaching, they were playing for stock and not just coaching under them. So, dude, Manny Diaz at Duke right now, Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech, Jeep Wade at Georgia Tech, Glenn Ellerby at Tennessee, freaking Willie Simmons at FIU, and had that entire staff basically were middle people. But
no question.
Anyway, we got to get into some football a little bit before we get out of here. Last night I talked about MACtion a little bit. UMass at Akron. Let me tell you something about Akron, man. I couldn't be happier for Akron. They start 0-3. And then now they've won 4 out of their last 7. They've not won more than 4 games since 2017, when they won 7 games in 2017. Their next 2, Kent State, who's playing better also, by the way, and Bowling Green, who is kind of a mess right now. Bowling Green, I don't know if you saw this, Jeff. They had 3 players arrested over the weekend for apparently assaulting a bouncer at a bar. Now, I'm not here to make accusations about anybody. I'm not here to speculate. But what I will tell you from sort of experience is there are often times when somebody feels like they need to they need to gain the respect of a woman or of their buddies. And when a group of, or a lot of times they assume it's just one football player comes in, that is the alpha male, right? And so sometimes people tend to get a little more mouthy, they get a little more, they get a little more confident. They think, maybe somebody's there by themselves. And what happens, unfortunately, sometimes is they don't realize that when there's one football player there might be another 20 there.
Yeah.
And it could get ugly. And so, I don't want to, again, there's no excuse for anybody. And I don't know what happened in this scenario. But needless to say, they got all kind of distractions going on at Bowling Green right now. So can Akron get to bowl eligibility by beating Kent State and Bowling Green the way they're playing, the way Ben Finley's playing
good?
See why not?
Jordan Gant, another big performance, 28 carries, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, and UMass from the jump, man, they tried into a flea flicker on the first play of the game. The running back slips. Down. He still throws it, but he throws it sideways, and Akron gets the ball and just goes right down and scores. And at that point, it was just Akron never stopped scoring. So shout out to the Zips, man. 4 wins on the year, 2-way.
Yeah. What about Miami and Ohio? Like I said, I didn't watch any of it.
I watched it
because I don't have ESPN.
Battle of the Bricks, Sprouse. This was such an awesome game. MACtion, decent crowd from what you saw on the video broadcast. But it was tight. It was everything that you want in a MACtion game. 0-0 after the first quarter, 3-3 at halftime. Just physical. Oh man, both defenses were flying around, hitting, whether it was Finn, whether it was Navarro. It was just a physical game. And I have to shout out, I know they didn't win the game. Corbin Hondrew is an absolute wrecking machine. His motor, it reminds me so much because I watch so much of the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. His motor reminds me of Max Crosby. He never stops running. He is consistently around the ball. He had 17 tackles. He had 1 sack. He had a TFL, and he had a strip sack on Parker Navarro where they got the ball back. I thought Miami played a better game than Ohio, but ultimately the turnover with Daquan Finn, they have the ball at the end of the game, a chance to go down and score and win the game. There was a bad pick when he should have just either ran it or threw it away. I just didn't think he uses, he's been this way all year. He doesn't use his legs enough. He gets out there and it looks like he could run for 5 or 10 yards and he still decides to throw it. It's not the Finn from Toledo from a couple years ago. And I don't know why that is or what the case may be, but he missed guys that were open. He didn't throw it at times when I thought he should have. But you got to give credit to the Bobcats. 4-1 in the MAC, big rivalry win at home. And they're in the driver's seat right now in the MAC.
Yeah, and Ohio, they've been, they obviously had the win versus West Virginia. They played Rutgers tight in week 1 or week 0. I think it was week 1. They've been the best team, I think, all year. They've had a couple weeks where you weren't sure about them, but they've been the best team all year. So good to see them get the win in front of a good crowd at home. I thought you were going to say Bill Romanowski when you were talking about the.
Well, just as far as a motor goes, you know what I mean?
No,
like is always around the ball. I mean, Navarro they ran a couple, speed option plays, and Hondrew just levels Navarro as soon as he pitches it. I was like, that could potentially be, but he's a runner at that point, so you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Well, in 2025, you never know what they might call targeting. You're right about Finn not using his feet, and I feel like that's been that way. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of these more dual threat or athletic quarterbacks, I think they're trying to force themselves, and their coaches are trying to force them to be these pocket passers. Like they think that's what's going to get them to the NFL, or that's what's going to get them wherever. And I think it hinders them. It's not what you're best at. But anyway, couple of games tonight. Kent State at Ball State. I think I like Kent State on the road. I do
too. Drew DeShields.
Yeah, he's playing well. Kent State. I mean, that'll be a big time game next week because if Kent State comes away with a win, that'll put them at 4 also. So Kent State, Akron, who have been perennial bottom feeders in the MAC, both with a chance to get to bowl eligibility, and they'll play each other, and the loser will not have that chance. So good for them. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I mean, Kent State has dealt with with the coach thing they had in this offseason. They had an interim coach. They took the tag off. And then Akron, they've just been bad so long. And both of them, I mean, you win 5 games even. I think that's a big-time builder for those programs. Now, can they keep anybody and try to build off of it? NIU at Toledo. Toledo's been one of the most disappointing teams this season for me. I mean, you look at the worst part about it is you look at their stats, you look at their numbers. They're a top 3 defense in the country.
I know.
As far as total yards. They're a top 30 offense in the country. And yet they're 4-4. And you just can't. You see them go beat Western Kentucky and you think, okay, Toledo, this is the real deal, Toledo. And then they come back a week later, they score 13 points. And then they come out and they score 40 points. And then they score 12. I mean, it's just, I don't get it at all. It's
so confusing. And this is kind of what I was referencing with Coach Stock was the inconsistencies from week to week. And you can't put your finger on it because each team is a little bit different and why that reason may be. But we were so high on the Rockets to win the MAC, being the favorite. And on paper, they have all the pieces defensively, offensively. Tucker Gleason, Chip Trainum has played great this year, but they're 4-4, 2-2 in the MAC. I mean, it's
well, that's been the interesting point, and I'm just thinking about this as we're talking is a lot of it we've said is due to quarterback play. And, we were talking with Stock about, the quarterback might not get there till the summer, but maybe the two most disappointing teams for me in the group of 5, Toledo and Boise State, they're the ones that have the veteran quarterback that's been there a long time, and the veteran offensive line and running backs. So I get it. Maybe their receivers are new. They don't have they haven't gelled. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's an epidemic.
But NIU is 14.5-point dogs as of right now. I typically don't like high spreads, and you don't know what you're going to get when you get into these MACtion games. But man, I don't know if NIU's offense can score. So
that's what I was going to say, Jeff.
You're talking
42.5
points, if you can get it. Yeah.
Well, that 42.5. I mean, I know you don't like unders, but I mean, is Toledo going to score 35?
Maybe look at NIU's team total under too, depending on what that number is set at.
Yeah, and NIU's defense and running game is good enough to, manage a couple possessions. I think the under's in play, but it's a Wednesday night, and you never damn know. you just Tucker Gleason and Toledo may come out and look like the Toledo from week 2, and you just don't know. You just really don't know what we're going to see. Thursday night, we got a couple of bangers, and I sure as hell, I am really, really trying to hold out on this ESPN YouTube thing.
Oh, they're both on ESPN.
Yeah, dude. Tomorrow might be. I might have to do something.
I'll give you my login. Hopefully that'll work.
But I think it kicks you off. My in-laws have Hulu, and it was a big ordeal trying to pull it up on the TV.
Well, you just log into the app, the ESPN app, and watch it on your phone. I don't think it'll kick me out. I don't know. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see.
I don't want to watch it on my phone. I want to watch it on my TV. I have a whatever inch TV in my living room that I paid for.
The ESPN, I'm sure you have a smart TV. Download the app on your TV and then watch it on there. That's what I do. But last night, for whatever reason, it kept crashing. Don't go into it.
This is what I talked about with these streaming services. I don't want to have to, I want to go from this game to this game. I used to be able to hit last channel back, and it would just go to the other game. Or even better, I had 4 of them on the same time. I don't want to have to log in and out of apps to change a game. And by the time I log out of an app and get to the other app, it's now a commercial on this one. You used to be able to hit last channel. Oh, this one's on a commercial too. We'll go right back. What a disaster. What a disaster. And I'm telling you, I've been warning you about it. But anyway, Georgia Southern, App State, rivalry game. I don't think the rivalry it's lost a little bit amongst non-Group of 5 people, non-Sun Belt people, non-Georgia Southern App people, because they're both struggling a little bit. When either of them are good, this is an unbelievable rivalry. I think in Boone, a Thursday night, I think it's going to feel just as damn, as much hatred as there always is. I don't know, man. Georgia Southern, I find it hard to believe they're not good when they're not at home. App State can throw it. They've moved the ball pretty well. Georgia Southern hadn't really stopped anybody all year. I'm leaning. Mountaineer Matt is back this week, and I'm taking App State.
Somebody said it was Mountaineer Murph. Got Statesboro Sprouse versus Mountaineer Murph. Yeah, this is a coin flip pick 'em. It's which App State team is going to show up. Can they fix their red zone? Just collapses over the last several weeks. And then Georgia Southern, they're super talented, man, but they just don't play up. And I don't get it. And you mentioned their woes on the road away from Paulson. I think App's going to take this game, but it's 6.5. Not sure about that. This is a coin flip pick'em type game. But give me App because they're at home.
Yeah, UTSA out at South Florida. South Florida 2 touchdown favorites in this one. 68.5 on the total. South Florida's off a bye, also off of the loss to Memphis. So do you get the ornery South Florida off of a bad loss, a heartbreaking loss? Or do you get what we've seen, it seems like all year, do you get to South Florida off a bye that's kind of sloppy, kind of stuck in sand a little bit? And then the other part of it is, if you get the Owen McCown from last week, South Florida defense, as good as they've been, they're a little bit susceptible on the back end, a little bit. So if you get the Owen McCown from last week, we're lucky. South Florida's lucky this thing ain't in the dome.
That's what I was going to say.
So I like South Florida. I think a little closer than 2 touchdowns. Now, that being said, it wouldn't surprise me at all if South Florida just came out firing on all cylinders and beat them by 3-4 touchdowns. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But it also wouldn't surprise me, if UTSA keeps this thing very close within a score.
Coming off the bye, we've seen a lot of teams start out slow and struggle. I don't think South Florida does that. UTSA away from the Alamo Dome, they're just not the same team. They haven't been that way for the last several years, so I'm going to lean on that and say that Golish, after that loss on the bye week, has been in his team. And we got to stop playing sloppy. We got to stop playing, we want to play loose and play free, but it's just too much to where they leave so much meat on the bone. They got to start cleaning this thing up. Because if they want to make a run, they still have everything they want in front of them. They do need a little bit of help after that Memphis loss. But if they win the American, they're it. They have the resume. They have the pedigree. I have no faith in the committee that they're going to put James Madison in. If they win out, shout out James Madison. I do think they're the
I don't think,
rep, but South Florida, if they win out, they're it.
Yeah, they don't need help, I don't think, because if Memphis wins out, then Memphis has the head-to-head over South Florida, but South Florida will have the head-to-head over North Texas.
Well, you'll get into, let's see. I mean, you're going to have one loss. You're going to have 2 or 3 one-loss teams potentially.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think I think it's going to work itself out because regardless of who wins Memphis Tulane, that eliminates one of the one loss. Navy, if they go beat any of the teams that they play, that's going to eliminate the other one loss. And if they lose, I think you're going to end up North Texas, I think, will win out. And then I think North Texas is relying on South Florida, some kind of mix up where there's another 2-loss team. You'll have a interesting situation. I think if it's Tulane, South Florida, and North Texas, right? Because I don't think none of them play each other. Is that?
I think that sounds right.
South Florida already played North Texas, so they'll have the head-to-head. But then Tulane, North Texas.
But you'll have Memphis. So let's say if you have North Texas, South Florida, and Memphis all with one loss. I know Memphis has the head-to-head over South Florida.
And South Florida has the head-to-head over North Texas.
Yeah, but then Memphis has the UAB loss. So it's going to come down to you're going to have some type of computer situation.
I don't think that matters. I think, but anyway, well, if you do come to a computer or it might go to the CFP, if Memphis is still at one loss, then that means they've won. I mean, they're obviously the highest ranked now. So I don't think so they'll get in based off ranking, and then South Florida would get in over head-to-head. North Texas needs UTSA to beat South Florida tonight or Thursday night. Anyway, I mean, it's still a long way to go, dude. And I'm telling you right now, Thanksgiving weekend, it hits the fan. It always has. You'll see somebody, Navy goes to Memphis Thanksgiving Day. Stuff happens. Bad stuff happens on Thanksgiving Day.
It does. And usually it's in favor of the road teams.
Hey, it is. Well, do you remember? I can't remember where it was, but was it Pitt and West Virginia? I mean, West Virginia was about to play for a national championship in the last week of this was 2007? And they go to, so anyway, we'll see. Give me South Florida close though. That's what I would bet on if I was. We got a couple voicemails, Jeff, 615-900-4286. Let's see what we got.
Group of 5 guys, Josh Bevel here. got the Thursday night game against the freaking Mountaineers. Some people might say they're GOAT effers. If you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, starts with an F and ends with the Uckers. App State. We'll see if we can beat them. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Boone's a hard place to play. I do have respect for App State as a program. I don't have respect for Georgia State as a program. Quite frankly, I think they should give their own football program the death penalty because Georgia State's so freaking terrible. But we'll see. I don't know if we're going to win, boys. I don't know. Maybe if we lose, we'll lose a tight one. I don't know. Boone is an absolute brutal place to play, as you guys well know, and everybody in college football knows. I will say this, boys. Things just need to change. We'll see if we win. We've got a tough back half of the schedule, tough way to go the rest of the way. But App State, screw you! Screw you, damn it! We've got to win! We got to fight! Blue and white! Fight, fight, fight! Come on! Come on! I hate App State! We can't lose to them! I know we're playing in Boone on a Thursday. It's going to be tough, but let's embrace the freaking adversity and let's freaking go! Come on! Sorry, guys, I had to. I had to get a little fired up. God bless the group of 5 guys. Hail Southern.
It'll be a raucous crowd.
Yeah. You know, you remember the first time we went to Boone? It was a Thursday night game, and they were like, oh, it's not going to be that good of a crowd. It's Thursday night. Sell out. Tailgates rocking at 2 p.m. I mean,
bars were cracking.
Yeah. I mean, they just, whatever they're doing, it should be studied.
Something in that water up there on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to
what else we got?
Let's get to our last one. This is actually in response to a caller from
a little beef
Monday.
My name is Braden. I'm a senior at Rice University right now, and never thought about calling until I heard that idiot Jared talk about the team in Houston, and I just felt the need to respond. So I can't believe a UTSA Roadrunner is talking trash about such a distinguished university. UTSA just, the only thing they have going for them is that they beat us in football this year. Other than that, I can't think of a single thing that UTSA does better than Rice. But I felt my need to respond to that. I don't even think UTSA is considered a top 10 university in the state when we're number 1. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. But other than that, I've gotten to see the turnaround that Coach Scott Abel has, just this new life in this program after we fired Bloomgren. You see it, day to day, and with the players, just talking to them in class or whatever. There's such a difference. I'm really excited about the prospects of this team going forward. Had a couple close games this year. I also like to point out how we had to play 4 quarterbacks against UTSA because 3 dirty hits on our players didn't get penalized. But I'm really excited. We got tough 3 games coming up, but we win 2 of them. We're going bowling, so just wanted to respond to that guy, Jared. I just think he's a classless, not good for anything Roadrunner. So the owl is the superior bird. I just wanted to let that be known. So, but to be fair, what he said, thanks for what y'all do for the group of 5. It's great that we get some recognition when not a lot of people give us the recognition that I think the group of 5 deserves. So keep doing what y'all are doing. Hope y'all have a good one.
Shout out Braden, man. Coming back, standing up for the Rice Owls. I think that's our first Rice caller ever.
I think so. Well, and the Rice, you want to talk about a good degree that he's about to walk away with.
Yes, he is.
The Rice degree. The owl, the Roadrunner. What is the superior bird? We had to do a poll. The eagle? Is it the Chanticleer? What bird is the superior in the wild?
Well, the Mean Green, North Texas it's a bird too.
It's an eagle.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, their logo.
It's an eagle. You got multiple, Rice, Temple, FAU, Owls, Kennesaw State, Owls.
Well, I was thinking just specifically in the state of Texas.
The state of Texas.
That'd be a good poll to do. Maybe do that on social media today.
So
whose bird is the most superior?
Ain't bad. Are there any other birds in Texas? UTEP ain't a bird.
What are we missing?
I don't know. Texas State? No. Bobcat?
Great call, though. I was cracking.
That's a great call. Yeah. That's great. We need more students, too. You know what I mean? We get these, we're has-beens. We're, old timers. But
you know what I loved about that call? Talking to the players in class.
Amen to that.
We've been saying that for years. If you're a football player, you got to talk to your fellow classmates, man, because you build and create a relationship. Now they want to come to the game and support you. So,
yep.
Bravo to that. Bravo.
Yep. Amen. That's all we got, Jeff.
That's it.
Hey, we'll see you Friday morning. If you like the show, hit the follow button on all the socials at Group of Five Guys. Subscribe to the channel, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcast. Let's hope and pray that ESPN and Disney and YouTube figures this thing out immediately. Doesn't seem like they will, though. So I hope we all have backup plans. But enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you Friday morning. We're out of here.